is Prince. I was watching it earlier today. Couldn't remember the video, so I had to jog my memory. What was it like to work with him on those videos?
It was like touching genius. He was attention to detail. So every detail, even though there were producers there and directors, he had his hand in it. And it was amazing. We recorded it behind Glam Slam in Minneapolis. At 3 in the morning, we wrapped, and I got to meet Maite and the rest of his entourage, and Graham Armstrong, who was one of his VPs at the time. And it was an amazing experience that I'll always remember.
If people out there don't remember, just to jog your memory, that video was sort of about riding in Minneapolis. There was banging of cars and people jumping up against cars and lots of people in the streets. A pretty incredible video. I think so many people probably are online and on YouTube watching Prince's videos and listening to his music over and over again. You went to both of his final performances just, a couple of days ago, really, here in Atlanta. How was he doing during those shows? Did you see any difference in him?
Those were that was my 13th and 14th show that I'd seen Prince perform in. And the first show, I went with my husband, and my husband was so great, he bought me a ticket to the second show.
Wow.
Because I told him I knew it would not be the same show because Prince didn't like repeating himself. And sure enough, he only repeated 2 songs. I did notice the difference in the second show, that he wasn't quite as interactive with the audience. And I mentioned that to my best friend and my husband when I got home.
You said to our producer that Prince was so sexual and also really spiritual. He had a conflict between those two things. Why?
I don't know if I would call it a conflict as much as a coexistence. He in his early, I think there was a change in his 40s where he went from being a sexual entertainer to becoming a more spiritual person, but he was able to intertwine the two in a way that no one else has ever been able to do.
Yeah, really incredible. And you also said he was funny. None of us knew Prince as being funny, really, because he was so private.
Yes, he was very private, so people often ask, well, where are the pictures? And if you were in the entourage, if you hung around with them, you didn't take pictures or else you were kicked out of the entourage. Also, back then, we didn't have our cell phones with us everywhere. We had pagers. So, it's just you had to play it cool. You had to act a certain way to be in the entourage. You had to be smooth because he liked perfection and he was a very shy, laid-back guy, but funny. I went to a club here in in Atlanta called Rupert's, and he was telling your mama jokes half the night with somebody else, and he was so funny.
And it's just so incredibly cool to get the insight like this that none of us really had, but you obviously had. Thank you so much for joining us, Lorelei. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. What I would want everybody to know is to use his passing as an opportunity to educate yourself on musical genius, spirituality, and how to give to others.
Thank you, Lorelei.
Thank you.
All right, mourning the death and celebrating the life of Prince. We're going to go live to Paisley.